There we are. Live on YouTube. Zulma Gonzalez, you're muted and your mic is all yours.
Muted with the mic. How about that? I was muted with the mic. Oh my gosh. Hey, thankful Thursday. It is Thursday. A thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. Um, Thank you everyone who is here, who's listening, who's gonna listen later. I appreciate. Thank you so much for um your assistance last Thursday. As Karen just said, um, the support, the love, that the remembering that no point in time was I ever alone, that I received last week was phenomenal. I decided to take all sorts of public transportation to go to New York last Monday. Mm, all sorts of public transportation. I drove my car to the train, which was less than a 10-minute ride to the train, and then I caught the train into the center city, and then to catch another train to get to where the bus was going to take. I was going to get the bus, the mega bus to New York, and that was a 2 hour and 15-minute ride. And I got off of that bus, and I had to catch two buses in New York to get to the hospital. Stopped at Taco Bell first to get something to eat. Uh, but by noon, I was with my sister, and it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful visit. I was there for about 3 hours. Could have stayed longer, but they thought it was going to take me longer than it did to get back to the bus again. And it's interesting that the one thing that kept coming to mind was was when Regis. I was talking about how I wanted to be when I got there. You know, I didn't want this and I didn't want that. And Regis said, "Booey" to all that. If you feel like you want to, if you fall down and cry, then you do that. And I was overall pretty good. Well, I wasn't faking. I was going because I'm telling you, I had you all with me. You were all with me. You were all with me, and I kept hearing um, different pieces of each and every one of you. But my sister asked me, she said, "So when you found out that this was it, were you shocked?" And was right up to that point, I was fine, and then I started to cry. And sure enough, it's exactly what she needed to see. She needed to see the pain that I was experiencing. I mean, without snorting and snotting, but she to, she, she needed to see that my sister has always been the type of person who um needed wanted external appreciation because of the lack of appreciation that she had for herself. But she said something to me, not this time, but the last time I went to see her, and I'm not going to use the language that she actually used, but she had she said she's so glad that she's not the kind of person that she used to be, that didn't care about anything but herself, because she realized that she was hurting the people that meant the most to her. And hearing her say that was amazing. It was just amazing. And she kind of, and this time too, she kind of did confession. I don't know. She was saying things that I will share with family members after she makes her transition, provided I don't make mine first. Um, it was really phenomenal, and I so appreciate you all being there. Oh, Dub left before I could sing the birthday song to him, because I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet directly since his birthday. Nevertheless, I am going to share my screen so we can get started. I have little to nothing to say much more about the situation with my sister, except that I'm being asked, not by her but my nephew, her son, via my friend Debbie, to go spend some time in Texas. And I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Too much involved. Um, I don't know about that. We'll see. That would be basically for my nephew, and I don't know how. I don't know what I want to witness. Anyway, again, thank you, all of you who were here and supporting. I so much, so appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, all right, let us, as we start, as always, mind your mind. Remember that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. We can't really live a joyous life, a joy-filled life, a God-filled life, um, unless we're conscious of the fact that we're not doing that, or being conscious to do that. We call it a practice. It's a practice. We call it a process, and a process isn't something that happens just one time. We think, oh, I read it, I got it, and that's that. No. I read it and I read it again, and then I had it, and then I didn't have it, and then I read it again and I got it, and oh, lo and behold, hey, I finally got it. Now I can keep on practicing this thing, but it is absolutely a practice. And and even even going back to we're just talking about the times when I'm not, how can I say, so the course and other mental sciences talk about being in joy, talks about what need not be and all that kind of stuff. um but but the course also teaches that we're going to go through some stuff, and that basically we are in this physical world. As long as we believe that that this is real to us, even temporarily. So as long as it's real to us, then there's a we act accordingly. I was laughing just 15 minutes ago. I hadn't put my top on yet, and I'm thinking, oh wait, this is not the presentation. This isn't the way I want to present. um so this top and yeah, Karen, all right. um so this top is, it's important to me, and it's important to you too, because now that I've said that, you thought, you know what, Zoma, you're right. I would have been quite surprised, especially after coming in here that way I was last Thursday. Can you imagine me coming in here like half dressed, like oh boy, Zoma needs a little more talk. She needs a little more support than we thought. But no, but it's important. These things, these tangible things are important. Me wanting to wish Dub a happy birthday. I want him to hear. I want to sing to him, which is what I like to do. Probably call him. Um, he may be listening in the room, but I don't have the room up, so I don't know what's going on there. But nevertheless, these things are important to us. This puppy is important to me. My new job. I tell you, I work as a caregiver 3 days a week. Absolutely love it. Um, um, these things are important to us. My friends, the people that I love, the people that love me, important to me. Uh, and inform. When I think Karen, I think of this little slim little face. You know what I mean? This slim little cute, my Karen. You know what that means, Karen. You know. My Karen, I have a certain image, a physical image of who that is. Um, do I worship her? No, but do I love her to pieces? Absolutely. And that applies to everyone here. I'm just naming Karen because she's actually interacting with me via emojis right now. So I know she's like right there listening. But that applies to each and every one. Michaela, Lori, Lynn, Dove, whoever's in the room, Carrie, Regis, whoever. These names, these labels that we have been that we have in the physical experience include the book, the words in the book. They're all symbols. All of it. It's just symbolic. It's all symbolic, because we can't see what we can't see. We see spirit and form, but we can't see spirit. We see energy at work, but we don't see energy. We see life at work, but we don't see life. We see love in action, but we don't see love. So these are all things that we have symbolically, but in form, because this is the life, the life, and I'm putting on quotation marks, that we have chosen. We have chosen this physical existence as our way of living, of learning. Everything that we see, all these forms are are tools, are teaching tools for us. Every one of them, including this body. So it is the course refers to it as a learning device. They're all learning devices. This book is a learning device. So, which is why the course says, forget this course, and forget this body, and forget the body, forget anybody, forget everybody, because the body itself will forget the body will forget itself, because it's temporary. It's also temporary. Um, and that's what's really key, to remember the oneness. My sister had mentioned that she saw a white dove on her, out on the windowsill in the hospital. And she said, and that's the Spirit of God. And I looked at her, I said, and you are the Spirit of God. And she looked at me. Oh my God. It was as if I had said something. It went beyond her physical self. I said, you are the Spirit of God. I said, this body is just part of it, just like that dove's body is part, is what we see. I said, but you, the essence of what you are, my sister, which is what I call her, my sister. See, I do the my thing. Karen, I do the my thing. I have the parts of me, actually parts of my life, and that I include when I'm walking, when I'm in the supermarket, when I'm driving, when I'm playing with Lovable, some of the things that are said, or I can see Michaela has a tendency to turn her camera on. Here's a Michaela thing. She'll turn her camera on for just a moment sometimes, and she'll be walking. And I always see in my mind, I think of Michaela and I see her walking. And that could be in the middle of the day. It could be in the middle of the night. It could be any time. Just parts of me, just parts have become parts of my life that are important to me. Worship them? No. Love them? Yes. And I'm grateful for each and every single one. Meaningful to me, because I give things all the meaning that it has. But I give it a lot of meaning. And I believe you know that. I believe you know that. I'm so grateful to, we want to call this Thankful Thursday. I am so thankful. I am so thankful for having this forum, for having had it for so long. I think back to 2007 when I first came here, 6 or 7 when I came here. I'm gonna have to look at some of my old teachings and find out when that was. I think it was '07 when I actually started to teach. It took Dove a while to convince me that I shouldn't be scared. It's amazing what we make up. I don't think about being afraid to come here. I didn't think about being afraid. People were saying, oh, you're going to catch public transportation. Aren't you afraid? No, because if I was afraid, I wouldn't have done it. When I made the decision to jump out of an airplane back in 2022, in July of 22, weren't you afraid? No, it was something I always wanted to do. I never even thought about being afraid to do it. That seems a bit insane. Um, the only thing about fear for me is to look at it and realize that I am making it up. And is a book titled "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." Because the only way to get past the fear is to what's it say it's written in the Bible? I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Walking through the valley of the shadow of death, not going in and pitching a tent, not setting up not setting an apartment up. I'm not, not building a house there. I'm not going there to stay in the valley of the shadow of death. I'm getting the heck out of the valley, but I'm walking through, which is why it reads, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Because in truth, there is no evil. Evil is a concept that we make up. And I may bring something from Dr. Ernest up in there, or Neville Goddard. I'm not sure who, but evil is something we make up. There can't possibly be evil if it's all God. If God is omnipresent, we've all heard that word. We all heard that word. And not in the Santa Claus, sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake thing. That's a person. But the energy, the spirit, the life that we call God, it's always right there. And it doesn't. I love 135, workbook lesson 135:18, which is, what what could you, basically, what can we worry about? Why do we need to worry? What is there to be afraid of? What could I possibly not accept? And I could stop that sentence right there. What could I not accept? Everything is worthy of my acceptance. Not to like it, to like it, but accept it because it is what it is. I can't change it. What I can't change is my mind. I'll bring that up a little bit today because this is, after all, um, course in mind training. And haven't gotten past that, have I? So to learn how to think is to learn how to live, Dr. Ernest Holmes teaches. And the course teaches us that this is a course in mind training. Mind training. It's not learning to change that thing out there, learning to change the situations that are going on out there, learning to change what somebody said to me and thinking I have to fix them. I that's not my job. That's not my job. The course teaches us that analyzing the motives of others is hazardous to me. Analyzing your motives is hazardous to me. You might not even know why you're doing something, or you might feel like you don't. Who am I to try to figure out why are you this and why are you that? Why am I trying to take the beauty, trying to take find the beauty of the rose by taking the petals off of it? Why am I doing that? It doesn't make sense. Um, and Michaela writes, oh, okay. So Lori heard that about the white dove. Yes. Um, and yes, Karen, everything's a symbol. Everything. It's a symbol. It's all symbolic. And it's symbolic according to the meaning that we give it. I mentioned the white dove. Lori said, white dove. Wow. We have been taught that the white dove is such a, it's so we in the days of Catholicism, the white dove represented the Holy Spirit. So why a white dove? Why not a black pigeon? Why not a white pigeon? Why not a little monkey? Why not lovable? Where'd you go? Why not lovable? we decided somewhere along the way. Oh yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. We've gotten caught up. I have gotten caught up in a lot of my symbols, which is why immediately when she mentioned the white dove being the spirit of God, I'm like, wait a minute. Spirit of God is right there, expressing through you as you. It is you. And it always will be you. And I'm glad she brought up the white dove. Otherwise, I may not have had a segue to go into that. Um, thank you, Michaela. Thank you. I'm going to take that compliment and leave it right here. I'm going to leave it right here. I'm not going to read that one. That's for me. Thank you. Um, I appreciate that. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, the spirit of God everywhere. There's a song by Eddie Watkins Jr. It's I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. And that's me and that's you. And what I have to remember is that that's not just me. I'm not the only one that's holy. I'm not the only one that's whole, but you are the place where God shows up. I was watching the news yesterday. My clients at the where I'm working now, they have the television on all day long, and I'm not one. I don't do a whole lot of TV. An occasional movie now and then or something. But they have the news. The television's on, and I'm watching the news, and I'm seeing all kind of things. I'm seeing the person who's going into clothing stores and is taking clothes, and all I'm thinking about is, my God, how she feels that she's lacking. She feels that her needs are not being met. the pain that she has to be in to feel that she needs to do that. Now we know the course teaches us that a sense of separation from God is the only uh, thing that we need to correct. But that sense of that feeling of lack, if God is all there is, then that feeling of lack could be in clothing, it could be in food, it could be in conversation, it could be in, having people around. You know, I have a family member who talks about a hunger. She has this hunger for family. And that's an interesting, and what we resist persists. Nevertheless, um, I'm not here to talk about that. But yeah, but this individual, well, just watching the news, and the thing, I just finished a class based on Emma Curtis Hopkins's teachings. Um, the book was titled Unveiling Your Hidden Power. I'm gonna stop the screen for a minute. Um, Unveiling Your Hidden Power, a book by a woman named Ruth L. Miller. And she calls it Emma Curtis Hopkins Metaphysics for the 21st Century. And metaphysical just means beyond the physical. That's all. There's no woo-woo in that. I used to think it was woo-woo in that. But it's just uh, beyond the physical. And she says, see the beauty in everything. And it's just going back to Emma. It's going back, years and years and years and years and years and years ago. See the beauty in everything. And that's what the course says to us. Well, how lovely, how wonderful, how much joy we could find if we would meet ourselves and our brothers without judgment. Without judgment. Now, in this book, it talks about right judgment, what we would call, right thinking. In the Bible is written, judge not by appearances, make a right judgment. Right there. Judge not by appearances. Don't go by what you see. Looking at seeing that don't see it with through the eyes of, oh, that's wrong and that shouldn't be that way, and she's a thief and all that stuff. This is the way we've been taught to think. The course tells us resign as your own teacher. You've taught yourself. You've been wrong. You have taught yourself wrongly. Resign as your own teacher. That has failed me. That has hurt me continually. Time to look at it all differently. Um. So yeah. As I'm watching this on the news, and I'm watching this young lady, and she was a young lady. Um. Couldn't have been, more than in her 20s, I think, from what I could see, because you could see who she is. So, she doesn't realize now that she's a wanted person, wanted, and not for the reason that she would want to be wanted, but her feeling of lack, which is going to grow when they find her and arrest her, if that should happen. But that feeling of lack, that something is missing, that she has to seek outside herself. And the Course teaches very clearly in chapter 29, seek not outside yourself. It refers to it as the Antichrist, looking for something that's trying to find, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in the tangible things. The love is not in the tangible things. I mean, granted, I just called names and said, and I love you and you and you and you. I said that. I love you. Yes. But I still have to look beyond the body. I talk about loving my sister, my mother, my friends, Ronnie and Don, my sister Isabel, my niece Wanda, my friend Charmaine, all beyond the body. I still love them. And I know that they love me. How can they not? Because it's all love. It's all one. It's all one. Well, the same way that I can apply that to those who have left the body, who have chosen to leave the body, you have to apply that to those who are still choosing to be in it. Because if it can apply to me, it can apply to them too. Am I doing everything 100 the way I think, everything the way it should be done? Am I not turning my back sometimes on some of my responsibilities, things that I could be doing and should be doing to make my life easier? Of course. Does the course not ask how often, how many times opportunities we've had to gladden ourselves and refused? How many opportunities I've had to gladden myself and refused? Wow. Wow. And then I sit back like, why did I do that? Why do I keep doing that? Why am I praying for the same thing? The course says something about, there's a section called something about means to an end. Body, I think it's the body means to an end, and it talks about, saying I want something, but I'm not willing to do the work to get it, and it refers to me as inconsistent. Now, that's when I read the course. Now, if you read the course and you see that, it's going to be talking about you as well. Inconsistent, because we say we want this, but then we do that. We talk about, oh, how this, that, and the other, and then we go and then we do that. We say we're not going to criticize, and then we do. We say we're not going to worship something, and then we do. We say we're not going to uh, uh, make that real, and then we do, and then we don't, and then we do, and then we don't. And as the course says, inconsistent, inconsistent. But God is constant. That is unchanging. Spirit, as Dr. Ernest writes, is changeless reality. I am going to go back to the screen and see if I can at least get past that first slide. That was all an aside. That was an aside. I have no idea where this is going. I see Karen's hand. Yes, love, go ahead.
Well, first of all, it's so good to see you in good spirits, girlfriend. Number one, I want to say that I feel your energy and it's amazing. And I just love what the quote that you shared about, how many times have you had to gladden yourself and refused? And for me, that is how many times have I not listened to the Holy Spirit? Because not listening to the Holy Spirit is the only way to gladden myself. So how many times have I chosen to be right rather than happy? That's it, period. I mean, that is it. And that is something that I need to be reminded of every single moment of every day. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, and you wrote in the chat that when you want only love, you will see nothing else. And that's really it. That's really it. In this book, which I was referring to, she was saying basically, see the beauty and everything. Because first of all, for me to experience the beauty, no, that's not what I mean. Oh, yeah, that is what I mean. For me to experience the beauty, if I'm looking out there and seeing something that I think is not beautiful, then that has to be, it's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's not beautiful because I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at my thoughts about it, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Yes. And Michaela writes that God is thought, and we are as well. Yes, we are an idea in the mind of God. God is spirit, spirit, thought, truth, reality. I mean, pick a word. Pick a word. Joel Goldsmith says simply, God is. We are a thought in the mind of God. Yes. Yes. We are that. And there's Glorian. Hi, loved one. Good to see you. I saw
Hi,
you. I saw
I was in Pal Talk. Love you.
you. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, that was Monday that I went, and Tuesday that I sent you the picture. Um, um, I just didn't get back around to a whole bunch of responding because I have a job now. So I come
Yeah.
home Monday, tired as all get out. I didn't get home at 8:45 Monday night. After all that wonderful public transporting, and and then had to be to work at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. So I didn't get a
Beautiful
chance
picture. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Beautiful.
um and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I took a selfie of my sister and I, um uh of my sister and I, um and I shared it with Glory, and um anyway, uh and a couple others of you we'll get to see it as well. Um Nevertheless, but yeah, so I took a picture and she smiled. She's funny. She's so funny. I had such a good time with her. She makes me laugh. She say some things, and I just have to shake my head. Sister, you really said that? Yeah, I said that. Nevertheless, this a course in mind training. Yes, and we are the effects. Karen writes, God is the first cause. God is the first cause. We are a secondary cause, because in the course it even tells us, it talks about, talks about how in workbook lesson 23, which I think I did put on a slide somewhere. Did I? I'll come back to that. But anyway, but yeah, that we are cause. We change the cause and the effect changes automatically. So so God is the first cause with capital F, capital C. But otherwise, we're cause. Everything that everything that happens, I'm responsible for it. I am causing these effects because it's never the thing, as I just said. It's always what I think about the thing. My thoughts are doing all this work. Thoughts are busy. My thoughts are active and busy. Now I have to be careful there. We're talking about mind training and training my mind, and all learning involves attention and study at some level. Because an untrained mind, a mind that doesn't have, where I'm not guarding my thoughts, a mind when I'm in a sleep of forgetfulness, an untrained mind can accomplish absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just like chasing my own tail, running fast and going nowhere, and getting dizzy doing it. Thoughts, Dr. Holmes writes, are things. Thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it is impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating. We cannot stop making stuff. We can't stop making stuff up. We can't. We can't. We are co-creators we are co-creators, and I'm always coming up with some new story, making up some new something, a new recipe, a new way of dressing, a new book to read, a new this, a new that, a new way to play with my puppy, a new way to feed him, which I've had to do. He has the hiccups. He gets the hiccups quite a bit. So I have started grinding up his food. I put in the Ninja and I grind everything up, and it works even better because he doesn't like peanut butter. My dog does not like peanut butter. He's so foo-foo. He is so foo-foo. He likes beef and he likes pork and he likes lamb and he likes salmon. He's okay with chicken, if it's actual chicken. But he definitely does not like peanut butter. And I had found these allergy, because now I'm finding my dog, he has allergies. I took him to the veterinarian last week, and um, that went well. In fact, I left here last Thursday after you all walked me through an important part of my life last Thursday. Had to go from here to the veterinarian. So I was trying to listen last Thursday as we were on our way to the vet. But he's a little bit overweight, but I knew that. And he has allergies. And I was told to put the same eye drops in his eyes that I put in mine, refresh. Because his eyes tears like I do, like mine do. Anyway, I have no idea why I even brought that up. New ways to make things happen, to make things work, to make things function. We're always coming up with new things because we're created to create. The mind can't stop. It can't. In our sleep, that's why we have some of these crazy dreams and these great dreams, because the mind can't stop. It never stops. It never, ever stops. Which is why we're asked to meditate, to at least give it a chance to quiet down. Because I can't stop it. Oh, they call a monkey mind and all that chatter. It can't stop. We cannot stop creating. We cannot stop making things up. And our choice is whether we shall do that constructively or destructively. And yes, Gloria, we have limitless possibilities. Limitless. There is, how vast is the all? And we are one with the all. What does that mean? That we have access to it all. There's just when we say we can't, oh, how we put the glass ceiling up. We put that glass ceiling up. We have these limitless possibilities, and it's remembering that gets me through from one space to another. There are times I say, oh, I don't know, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. And I stop, wait, Zulma, hold up. What are you saying? God can't do that? Is that what you're saying? Yes, decisions are continuous. Go ahead, Glorian.
Yeah, I love this conversation. And when you guys were talking before about the numerous opportunities to gladden oneself, and Karen just put in the chat, decisions are continuous. That's every moment every moment we have the choice to gladden ourselves because the ego speaks first. So it's our opportunity to ask to see it differently. Thanks.
Thank you. Um, so Karen was talking about I heard before I came on, they were talking about the whole levels thing. And for me it's simple. There's the stuff I physically see, and what I don't. Being careful to include the stuff I make up. But when I make it up, the stuff I make up in here, I see stuff. I make up, these things I make up. When I'm afraid of something, I think I'm seeing the future. I think I am. I'm not. I'm making it. There I go. Creating destructively. That is making things up destructively. But the things I see is level 2. And there is no level 2. The things I see, hear, smell, taste, touch, the tangibles, is all ego-based. It's all the unreal stuff. It's all the temporary stuff. It's really that simple. I attempted to do a thing on level confusion once I think on a Tuesday night when you're doing the Tuesday night thing, and man, I I I kept saying level 1 and level 2 so much that it became confusing when I went back and heard it. One of the few times I went back to hear my own recordings. I usually don't do that. Um, uh, I listen to others, but I don't listen to my own. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, but I kept on at level 1, level 2, level 1, level 2. Just level confusions. Workbook lesson number 12 says miracles are thoughts, and there's only 2 kinds. That thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience, which we then call level 2, or the higher or spiritual level of experience, which is the only one that really is capital S, because everything is spirit. Even in form, everything is spirit. One makes the physical and the other creates the spiritual. And that's what this is, what Dr. Holmes is saying, basically. Constructively or destructively. Constructively, spiritual. Destructively, physical. And there it is. Karen, go ahead.
That's exactly it. May I read very quickly Ken Wapnick's level 1 and level 2 description?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, level 1 is metaphysical. That of heaven, there is only truth or reality. And whatever is not that, namely everything that the ego made as a defense against the truth, is false. So everything here is false. Everything here is false. This is a world of non-duality or duality, whatever you want to call it. This is a world of duality. And level 2 is practical. And I love Ken's description of practical. And I think everyone's going to love it too. That of the world that we currently believe we are in. However, it is not helpful to teach or preach or change anyone or tell them, for example, oh, it's all an illusion. So why are you crying? It's not real. But we need to meet them where they are and do our best to be truly helpful. It is helpful to be normal and do things that everyone else is doing, unless our not being normal is not increasing separation or specialists in our minds, in which case we follow our inner guide. Ken Wapnick.
Love that. Where are you reading from?
I wrote this down many moons ago and I just kept it close to my heart. I can send you a copy if you'd like.
Yeah, take a picture of it. You don't have to rewrite it. Just take a picture of it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm sure I could, and then I'll send it out. You know me, I'll go look for it. All right. Yes. Yes, and glory and amen to that. And the loving thing to do is always following the directions given. Just listen. Just listen. I don't have to worry about what to do or what to say because I'll be directed. The Spirit is always going to direct me. I am content to be anywhere, everywhere, wherever I'm supposed because I'm never alone. I'm never alone. God's got me. And I got God. We got that. It got us and we got it. We got it and it got us. Woo, put that in your grammar bank. Hi, Regis. Welcome, love. Um, and again, the reminder, because based on just what I just read from Miracle Principle number 12, that all thinking produces form at some level. And Regis, thank you. Thank you so much. When I started crying on Monday, I thought about you. I was talking to my sister and I thought about that doggone Regis. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the quote from the Egyptian proverb, which ultimately made it to the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know himself shall find it, which goes along with that, with the course that says that the aim of the course is to know thyself. The goal of the course. No, wait a minute. There's the goal. There's a couple of things where it talks about. There's the goal of the course. There's the aim of the course. There's the I don't know. I have that written somewhere. A couple of things, but anyway, know thyself. That the goal of the course, the aim of the course, one of them is to know thyself. And to know thyself, the course says, is to be happy, is to be at peace. To be at peace. And that's really it. So all right. Let's see where we're going here. Mr. Neville Goddard was he talked about the law of assumption, not the law of attraction, the law of assumption. And he too, like some of the other metaphysicians, talked about basically if you spot it, you got it, you know. And it's just what the course says. We make our own world. We do this. We make it what we want it to be. We decide what looks good, what looks bad, what tastes good, what tastes bad, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, what others should do, what others shouldn't do. What, you know, these are things that we make it up as we go along. Neville Goddard, he talks about that feeling is the secret, which we end up saying all the time. How do you feel? Your feelings will tell you. He did a phenomenal work called Feeling is the Secret. Highly recommend it. Feeling is the Secret. You can find it as a PDF online. Neville Goddard writes from Mental Diets, a man's mental conversations tract his life. As long as there is no change in his inner talking, the personal history of the man remains the same. To attempt to change the world before we change our inner talking is to struggle against the very nature of things, which is basically saying, the course says, you can't change your behavior. You have to change your thinking. You have to change your mind. We're not being asked to change our behavior. Our behavior will change as a result of changing our minds. But we're not asked to change our behavior any more than we're being asked to heal the body. You know, it blows me away when I hear people talk about, and I'd like you to pray for the wholeness of my body. The body's not whole. My two thumbprints are different. That's not whole. That whole completion thing. Something is always amiss. Not enough this. Hair didn't do right. Too much weight. One shoe fits bigger than the other. Eyeglasses, you know, one earlobe is a little higher than the other. Something is always amiss. This condition, asthma, cigarettes, having an addiction, whatever. Something is always amiss in the physical, in the tangible. That's why we can't call it real. Because what's real is never amiss. What's real is always perfect. Perfect, and perfect means that it's whole, holy, wholeness, holy, wholeness, whole, perfect, complete. That's what we're talking about. When I say that I am whole, perfect, and complete, I'm not talking about my body. I'm talking about my body. You had to have stitches. You had to have surgery. So that's, in that sense, something's missing. I had no tonsils. Oh, okay, Karen, you think that's funny? It's the truth. Look, fusion. To fuse this with that, that means something had to be pushed out the way for that. We're not, our bodies are not whole, perfect, and complete. It's body. It's not about the body. It's about going beyond. And as Karen just read, metaphysical. It's metaphysical, beyond the physical. Oh, there it is. The goal of the curriculum: know thyself. The goal is to know thyself. The aim is peace. Motivation. No, the motivation is peace. It's not knowledge, it's peace. Different things it says that about the curriculum. That comes and goes different ways. Thank you for that, Karen. But yeah, so to attempt to change the world before we change our inner talking is to struggle against the very nature of things. Man can go around and around in the same circle of disappointments and misfortunes, not seeing them as caused by his own negative inner talking, but as caused by others. And workbook lesson 71 speaks to that. It reads, oh, I've got these things, I got 70, 71, and 72 clipped together. But 71 reads, the ego's plan for paragraph 2, the ego's plan for salvation centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, you would be saved. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly perceived as outside yourself. Each grievance you hold is a declaration and an assertion in which you believe, is a declaration and an assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be saved. The change of mind necessary for salvation in this way of thinking, is thus demanded of everyone and everything except yourself. And that's what Neville Goddard was saying. Not seeing ourselves as cause, and not seeing ourselves as the reason for our disappointments and misfortunes, but as being caused by others. You did this to me. Made me do it. And he also said somewhere else, it's not in the same section, but therefore, what we desire to see and hear without, out there, we must see and hear within. For the whole manifested world goes to show us what use we have made of the word, which is our way of saying in the course, that's a teacher. There's a trigger. Okay, that's a teacher. Everything that's happening in quotation marks to us in quotation marks out there is based on the way we see it in here. And I know someone who's always talking about how somebody was disrespectful and somebody was this and somebody was that, and they're miserable. They're just, I just really prefer not to listen. My patience for it is waning. It's waning because it's the same stuff all the time. And they'll say to me, well, I know that you say that I shouldn't. I'm not saying what you shouldn't do. I'm just saying what'll feel bad to you. You keep bringing up stuff that makes you feel bad, and then you can't understand why you feel bad. Duh. What we desire to see and hear out there, we must see and hear in here, within. For the whole manifested world goes to show us what use we have made of the word. This word is with a capital W. The Word is with God, and the Word is God. That's me. That's me. That is me. I am my own understanding of God, is the way Ruth L. Miller writes it in her book, Unveiling Your Hidden Power. I am my own understanding of God. Nothing out there. It's not out there. God is not out there. Out there is the Antichrist. Let's see what else we have here. Dr. Ernest wrote, thought which is built upon a realization of the divine presence has the power to neutralize negative thought. I'll repeat that. Thought which is built upon a realization of the divine presence has the power to neutralize negative thought, to erase it, just as light has the power to overcome darkness, not by combating darkness, but by being exactly what it is. Let all things be exactly as they are. By being what it is, light. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. In other words, as it says in the Course, the light came on and the darkness disappeared. Simple. And the darkness, and Dr. Ernest talks about it, somewhere else in the book. The darkness didn't say, "Oh my God, why did you do that? You really cramping my style here." No, 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 no. It just is what it is, and it was what it was. It was dark, and it wasn't. And there was light, and that was that. He goes on to say, we must conceive of the Spirit, God, as governing, controlling, and directing man's activity. God is not a failure. In the Course, God will not fail, nor ever has in anything. And Dr. Holmes continues, therefore, we must resolutely turn away, turn away from every experience which has been negative, from every experience which has been a failure, and from every experience which denies God. And that's not to say that I might not get off this computer at 11 o'clock and turn around and walk right into a situation that feels negative, that feels like failing, that feels like denying God. Now, it's the denying God part that makes me stop and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was just talking about the fact that I can't. Oh, yes, I can, because God can. I can because God can. I am because God is. Therefore, there's nothing I can't do. Nothing I can't do. I try to take public transportation all the way to New York. To New York, in New York, and back. I can do anything. I'll tell you. That was an experience. It was fun. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I looked at it as an adventure. People are like, you really taking public transportation? Yes. What's wrong with public transportation? I have hand sanitizer. Carry it with me everywhere I go. I love family. Thank you. I'm seeing all this love. Oh, don't make me. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know what happens. You know what happens. Thank you. We look with the vision of being, capital V, capital B, belonging to Christ. That is how we are to see and be, to recognize the truth. Nothing to deny, no experience, turn away from the negative experience. It's not, as I was saying about my patients waiting for this one person's conversation, it gets to the point where it feels so heavy. And in as much as the Course talks about, if people start talking insanely, they ask for the insane to go ahead and do it and all that. Yeah. But at the same time, I have to, if I'm looking at it, if I'm seeing it as insane, I'm the one that's seeing it that way. But I do have to take care of me. I do have to honor this right here. I have to honor Zulma. I have to honor Zulma. So, I can, I don't ignore the phone call. I just don't stay on the phone as long as I once used to, because it was draining. It was heavy. I just wanted to lay down and take a nap and have a nightmare, yeah, no. Enough of that. Enough of that. Let's see what the Course has to say. The Course talks about The correction belongs at the thought level. So we're back to that. We're back to that. God is thought. We are a thought in the mind of God. So what I need to correct are my own thoughts in order to think with God. A reminder, projection makes perception, that the world you see, the world I see is what we gave it and nothing more than that. But even though it's nothing more, it's not less. I can sit here and say, oh, it's not only the meaning I give it, only the meaning I give it. Well, doggone it, I've given it a lot of meaning. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. The names in this room, the names I'm seeing right now, people that mean a lot to me all the time. Thank you. So it's not only, it's not more, but it's not less. Therefore, to you it is important. Yes, it is the witness. We're talking about the world you see. It is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. What did Neville Goddard just say? That a man's mental conversations attract his life. As long as there is no change from the inner, the personal history remains the same. That we have to realize that it's being caused by my own anything. In this case, that my misfortunes and disappointment are coming from my own inner and negative thinkings. Back to this. It is the witness to my state of mind, my projection, the world I see. It is the witness to my state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. That comes up all the time. The way one thinks, that's the way one perceives. I'm starting from thought, I'm starting from in here and seeing it out there. Therefore, here we go. Seek not to change the people, places, things, the situations. Seek not to change ideas. Seek not to change what's on the television. Seek to change the channel on the television. Hey, there you go. Seek not to change the channel. Seek not to change the station. Seek to change the channel. Seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. That's the real change channels. I had a coworker used to say that. Just change channels. Perception is a result and not a cause. And this is coming from me. Workbook lesson 23. Did I read that already? I said I was going to. I mentioned it. From workbook lesson 23, it reads, oh, you know what? I think I did put on a slide. Let's see. Here it is. Every thought you have made up, every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. Every thought I have. I'm reminding again that my sister, she said that there was a dove on her windowsill. Twice. She said she saw 2 doves on her windowsill. And these are the symbols that have been given, or have been given to her, some of which have been given to her for her to find her peace. Again, we decide what's important. We come from in here and we see it, we project it out there. She projected that dove to be out there. She's the one talking about that she's at peace. She'll still say some things, of course, because this is a heavy situation. It's one thing to know that that all of us, our bodies have to go, that nothing survives its purpose. That this body is not going to, that it has the purpose that it has, it will do what it's supposed to do, and it's going to stop. We all know that. But the second that I'm told so-and-so passed, what? No. We'll do that. Hi, Sharon. Love this. Love the look, by the way. I love the look. I saw you earlier. I love the look. Yeah, that's right. I love the look. Thank you.
My hair. I'm
yes, I
getting
love
into wigs and hats.
I love it. It's cute.
Thanks.
Looks good on you. Looks real good on you. Look. Everybody's coming in the wave to you. See that?
It's gray and dark.
I like it. Well, that's my natural 2 colors. I remember going to a hair salon one time, and I was looking at a style, and I said, "Oh, I like that. What are they doing? Oh, they're getting the same thing you have, but they have color." I said, "Well, I have color too. 2 colors, black and gray." Anyway, every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. Every thought, which is why the Course teaches there is no point in lamenting the world. There's nothing going on out there. I don't even know why you bother to turn on the news. I don't turn on the news. Why? To see if there's something different than what you saw yesterday? Doesn't the course teach about what's it say? Is there any what's the sense in doing something the same way you did it before with the thought with the hope that it's going to um that it's not going to fail when it's past it's failed? It's past has failed. I think that's in chapter 16. I'm not sure. Or, yeah, somewhere. Anyway, um, we keep looking for something different. Well, let me hear the news today and see if so and so is saying anything different than what they said yesterday. Well, they're not. And then you have the audacity. Then you have the audacity to get upset about it, to get bothered because nothing is different than it was yesterday. Same in that case, it's same stuff, different day. And then we get upset because nothing changed, thinking that nothing was going to change in the first place, but you still find yourself getting upset about it. That makes no sense whatsoever. There is no point in lamenting the world. What I'm looking for is not in chapter 16, maybe it's in chapter 10. Anyway, there's no point in lamenting the world because it is incapable of change, because it is merely an effect. It is merely an effect. But there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. We're back to that. It's all about our thoughts. Do we want to think bodily thoughts or spiritual thoughts? Do we want to look at things through the eyes of love, or do we want to look at things through the eyes of pain, of fear, of hurt? Well, choose one because you can't have both. Choose you this day who you'll serve. Which master? Will you choose the one that's not real? Going to make it all up and hang out with this ego thought system where there's nothing but pain and confusion and can't figure out, your head from the hole in the wall? Or will you listen to the voice of truth, which is the only real voice there is? You're going to keep making stuff up and keep hurting? Is that what you want to do? Keep making stuff up and keep hurting? I am looking for something in this course. I'm not finding it at all. I'm actually looking in the book. Nope, didn't find it. Not gonna worry about it. Anyway, there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world, because here you're changing the cause. That's what I was saying earlier, Karen. I am cause, not first cause. First cause is God. Capital F, capital C. First cause. That's how Ernest Holmes called it. First cause. But I am the cause. After that, in the micro, I am cause. I am the reason that things are happening. Because every thought that I have makes up some segment of the world I see. Every thought that I have, every thought that I am causing makes up some segment of the world I see. When I change my thoughts, here I'm changing the cause. The effects will change automatically. The effect will change automatically because, as the course and Dr. Holmes and others teach, cause and effect really are one. We can't separate them. We can't separate them. Otherwise, we're talking about separation. And if we're talking about separation, then we're right back to, saying that there's God and something else. There is no God and something else, which I learned that Joe Goldsmith said first. At least that's where I first saw it. That there is no. I heard it from Reverend Sheila. I thought it came out of Ernest Holmes, but Joe Goldsmith makes it clear there is no God and something else. There's only God. And Karen brings up from workbook lesson number 17 that it's always the thought that comes first, despite the temptation to believe it is the other way around. That temptation, which is why in the prayer at the end of chapter 16, it says to lead us not into temptation, but the temptation of the Son of God is not God's will. Lead me not into temptation means to stop looking at stuff as it isn't, to stop making up stuff. It's just stop making up stuff. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Stop making up stuff. The course continues, seek for salvation where it is. And if you are to succeed, as God promises you will, you must be willing to seek there only. Where is salvation? Salvation is in the recognition. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Salvation is in the recognition that there is only God, that there is nothing else, that there is nothing missing, that there is nothing lacking, that there is nothing wrong, that there is nothing worth judging. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That all I have to do is look at my thoughts, decide I want to think with God, like God, for God, decide that, and then be in that oneness and go from there. Am I going to have experiences that are going to be bothersome? Yes, because in this world is written in the Bible, you will have tribulation. It's written to be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. For the world has already been overcome. There are no problems. The problems are already solved. There really are no problems. Whew. Why do we forget that often and more often? And the course continues, change your mind to think with God's. Change your mind about your mind. When you make a decision of purpose. So here I am. I have a thought. Well, yeah, I think I wanna do such and such. But see, I don't know because all right. So now I'm I'm going back and forth. I'm on the fence and teetering and tottering and can't decide which way to go and or if to even go at all. No. When I make a decision, and decisions are continuing, even when I'm deciding not to decide is a decision. Well, I don't think I should be the one to decide that because, well, that sentence starts with I don't think. That the sentence is starting with me thinking that I don't think. Interesting how we talk. I don't think. But I'm thinking when I'm saying I don't think. Oh man. That just, another aside. When you make a decision of purpose, you have made a decision about your future effort, a decision that will remain in effect unless you change your mind. It's all about what I choose to think. It's all about that. For reasons beyond my understanding, I was reading The Gift of Freedom and I was going to read something else, and I ended up here, and I'm going to read here just only for as long as I can, and as long as I have time, and would love for anyone to come on in because I saw the words "The Gift of Freedom." I like the way they look, and I said, "We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that." Paragraph 1. This is from I have no idea what chapter.
That's chapter 8. I think it's one of my favorites.
Okay, the chapter. I was just gonna go find it, but thank you, Karen. Chapter 8, section 4, The Gift of Freedom. If God's will for you is complete peace and joy, let me start that again. If God's will for you is complete peace and joy, hear that. If God's will for you is complete peace and joy, and it is, unless you experience only this, you must be refusing to acknowledge his will. Now, I read that, and I went back in my mind to last Thursday when we were here, and I was talking about the way I wanted to conduct myself with my sister. And it was brought to my attention that basically, and these aren't the words that were used, but it comes down to if I did that and that wasn't really what I was feeling, then I would be faking. That's not what Regis said, but that's what it meant. It was true. I would be pretending to be something that I'm not, which then would mean I'm not being in integrity, which then would mean that I'm not really being in truth. Right? But here it talks about, if being in complete peace and joy. So I understand that my peace was not something that mattered if I expressed tears of pain and sadness on the outside. That doesn't stop my inner peace. That doesn't stop my inner joy. That didn't stop me from wanting to get on the bus and, having the adventure of going to New York. It didn't stop any of that. So within, at my core, I was okay, regardless of whatever moment. And the good thing is that those things all come to pass, that peace and that joy, that's eternal. And that's what I have to remember during those times that I'm going through these topsy-turvy moments. That topsy and turvy are just temporary. That love is eternal. That peace is eternal. That God is eternal. And that all this other stuff, which referred to as these evil things, are all temporary. That evil is not an entity. Dr. Ernest wrote that. I think Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote it too. Evil is not an entity. It's not a real thing. It's just something that I'm making up as I go along, looking for another reason to be in pain. If God's will for you is complete peace and joy, unless you experience only this, you are refusing to acknowledge his will. His will does not vacillate, being changeless forever. And from the Science of Mind text, spirit is changeless reality. And of course, when you are not at peace, it can only be because you do not believe you are in him. So I'm back to what I'm saying, to realize that under it all, even though it's cloudy, the sun is still shining. Peace is still there. In the midst of my tears, in the midst of these physical things, or whatever, regardless, in the midst of all this stuff that's going on out there that I don't, that I don't want, that I don't like. But my willingness to accept it is where my peace comes again. Okay, I don't have to like this, but it is what it is. And it is what it is because it's the way it's supposed to be. And for me to think that it's not supposed to be that way is an illusion. It's fantasy. It's a distortion of reality. It is wish world. Okay, back to back to love, back to reality. When you are not at peace, it can only be because you do not believe you are in him. We live in God. We move in God. We have our being in God always. I live in God. I move in God. And I have my being in God. I am only because God is. I am therefore what God is. If I am not at peace, I am believing otherwise. Yet he is all in all. God is all in all. It's the course now. All in all. And Dr. Ernest writes, God is all, in all, overall, and through all. And if I'd have had time, I would have gone and seen what Joel has to say. It sounds the same way, I'm sure, because all means all. There's no getting around that one. His peace is complete. God's peace is complete. Life's peace is complete. And you must be included in it. I must be, have to be. There's no God hand. All in all doesn't mean all except me. It doesn't mean every planet except Mars. Everything, all in all. His laws govern you, that's me, because they govern everything. God's laws govern everything. You cannot exempt yourself. I cannot exempt myself. We cannot exempt ourselves from God's laws, although we can disobey them, which goes right back to me deciding I'm going to be depressed. I'm going into a depression. I'm not going to function. Oh, I'm just going to have to, call in and say, I'm still going through this thing and I don't think I'm going to be able to do the presentation today, and it'll probably be the same way next week too. And and I'm just going to be sad, and I don't know what to do with myself, because this thing is going on. This thing out there is going on with people out there, my sister, whatever that's happening, having an experience out there, and I'm choosing in here to. Well, no, I can't. Now, I'll admit, I feel kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy. This morning was feeling kind of heavy. And I was like, oh, I'm not, my concentration is not, I don't have any particular topic. And like, you know what? I don't have to worry about what to do or what to say, because God is in charge. It's gonna come together. And Karen, wait, she was going here to chat. You are at home dreaming of exile. Ooh, ooh. In chapter 10. And only equals are at peace, of course. Only. And that's true. If I'm thinking that something is less, and something is not going to be the way it was, and I am more than, and the I am, I'm being left, she's leaving me. This is happening to me. No, 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 no. I am not the victim of the world I see. Let's be clear. And nothing is leaving, because nothing is missing. Nothing is missing. It's all whole. It's all good. It's all God. I got it. I got it. I got it. And I had to have it in order to be able to say it to my sister. That keeps coming up. I'm still there, family. I'm still there. But I'm in a much, much more understanding place than I was. It was just been wonderful. Anyway, in fact, she's leaving the hospital, left the hospital last night. She was in the middle of a blood transfusion. When I called her, she stopped the chemo, update. She stopped the chemo, and now she's just doing blood transfusions. She is supposed to be in Texas probably tomorrow. That's the plan. Team awaits her. More blood transfusions until blood transfusions are no longer necessary. God's peace is complete, and I must be included in it, and we must all be included in it. God's laws govern me because they govern everything. I cannot be exempt from God's laws, although we can disobey them. Yet if we do, and only if we do, we will feel lonely and helpless, because I'd be denying myself everything. I would be denying the truth of what I am. How can I be separate from myself? Because that's really what it is. To be in a lonely place, to feel helpless, is to attempt to separate myself from myself. I cannot be separate from God, and God is what I am. So I would be separating myself from myself. Not possible. Let's see. Paragraph 2. I have no idea what it says. I haven't read it today. I am come as a light into a world that does deny itself everything. That does deny itself everything. This should be blue. It does this simply by dissociating itself from everything, which is what I was just saying. To make myself separate from. And I even have to be careful. This is Zulma talking. This is just Zulma's opinion here. When I talk about, stuff not being real, that the stuff out here is not real. The stuff out here is temporary. But the situations I've been talking about are as real as ever. My world, they are as real as ever. This computer, me sitting here, putting my top on before I came on screen, as real as ever. As Ernest Holmes says, it's real enough. It's just temporary, though. It's a temporary reality. It's a temporary reality. So I have to be careful not to dissociate, not to go into a place of denial that, things are happening out here that I don't like and don't want. not to go into denial and say, oh, well, it's not going to happen. It's just not, oh, or the body, nothing survives its purpose. So, the body has to go. No, I'm going to deal with the sadness and the pain that goes with it. At the same time, understanding that I wouldn't want, I don't want my sister to suffer. I don't, physical, I don't want her to go through the physical suffering. I've seen what that looks like. And it's not what she would want. And come on, let's be real. I don't have to, it doesn't have to be my way. I'm not in charge here. I'm not in charge. I am not in charge. I accept. I accept. I am come as a light into the world that does deny itself everything. It does this simply by dissociating itself from everything. It is therefore an illusion of isolation, maintained by fear of the same loneliness that it is its illusion. Me thinking that I'm separate, that you're separate. Only equals are at peace. Back to that. Only equals. Everything has to be equal to me. Everything is equal to me. I am no more than, no less than, no greater than, no, not better than. I am not little, not small. Nothing else is bigger or more than. No, 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 no. In God, it's all just one. It's all just one. It's all just one. And one has no degrees, no hierarchies of more or less than. It just is. I said that I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. That is why I am the light of the world. If I am with you in the loneliness of the world, then the loneliness is gone. You cannot maintain the illusion of loneliness if you are not alone. Stop making stuff up. Stop pretending that things are just so bad for you, that the world has dealt you a bad hand, that you were born at the wrong time, in the wrong part of the world, to the wrong parent. That's not the heaviest thing happening. You cannot maintain the illusion of loneliness if you are not alone. My purpose then, this is the voice of the Course speaking, is still to overcome the world. That's why I said, be of good cheer. In this world, you will have tribulation. Stuff happens. It's going to happen. It has always happened. Consider birth, being born. This little body that we had, which wasn't smaller than the area from which we came through, even if it was a cesarean, that was, that was work from the very beginning. But be of good cheer. Take a breath. Know that your worth is established by the Creator itself. That's what let you be, which let you live, let you have this time, to let you love, to let you understand that God is all there is, that you are one with it, that I am one with it, that we are one in one another. I read that in the Bible. There was always this talk about it's written that Jesus has always talked about, that he and the Father are one. As the Course brings out, we are too. We and the Father are one too. It has to be. There's no separation. But there's a passage in the Bible that seems to go unnoticed, and that is where it's written that Jesus was talking to the disciples and said that I am one with you, that we are one in one another. So if the disciples and Jesus, I'm just talking strictly from the Bible right now, if the disciples and Jesus were one in one another, and Jesus and the Father were one, and Jesus continually said, not him, but the Father who sent him, well, it's the same Father. It's the same source. It's the same source. What's the problem here? what's missing? Why? That would be judgment on my part. I'm not going there. I'm not going. I was there. I was that person once upon a time but I tried to believe it. I had a hard time. I really did. I really did. I was always asking questions from the people that were going to kill Cain on. What people? My purpose then is still to overcome the world. I do not attack it, but my light must dispel it because of what it is. Light does not attack darkness, but it does shine it away. We read that earlier. If my light goes with you everywhere, you shine it away with me. And that reminds me again of the review of review 1 after lesson 50. Peace is wherever I am. And all I have to do is recognize it. It doesn't go away because my peace doesn't go away because I'm, deciding that things are out there are happening and I don't like what's happening. The Course doesn't say that these things aren't going to happen, that these temporary experiences are not going to occur. The Course doesn't say that. The Course says that it's my job to escape them, not to be without them. Manual number 25. My job is to escape them, but not to be without them. In this life, there will be tribulation. You will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. If Jesus could do it, we could do it too. Hey, that's what he said. And greater things, greater things, no less. The light becomes ours, and you cannot abide in darkness any more than darkness can abide wherever you go. The remembrance of me is the remembrance of yourself and of him who sent me to you. And that is, we are one in one another. What Jesus is saying, that we are what Jesus is. The only difference is that we're still in the body, basically. We're still in the body. And Karen mentions that in the original edition, the section is titled "The Light of the World." Okay. Yep. And it says that it says that if somewhere else it says if Jesus is, if the light of the world is with us, then we too are the light of the world. Simple as that. I am the light. Light and peace and joy abide in me is what the workbook lesson says. Light and peace and joy abide, reside, are a part of me. And this is what I have to remember. This is all I have to remember. That I am what God is. God is what I am. We are one in one another. And that is love. And with that, Lynn, I'm turning over the mic.
Thank you so much, Zulma. And wow, what an awesome hour and a half of pure joy, pure passion.